Class, if you remember yesterday, we talked about the French and Indian War, and today we're going to continue on with the causes of the American Revolution. Now, I want you guys to take out the graphic organizers I passed out and fill out along, and then what you're going to do is I'm going to help you with a couple of them, and then you're going to fill out the rest. So, in the middle, it's the causes of the American Revolution. And one of these causes was the Stamp Act. Now, does anyone remember what the Stamp Act was? Yeah, it was the act that said that any postage that being sent out had to have a stamp on it, otherwise it would be taxed. Now, can anyone tell me what another one was? Yeah, the Tea Act. The Tea Act was another one that it taxed the tea that came into the United States. And then, what was the direct result of the Tea Act? In between here was an event called the Boston Tea Party. Now, does anybody remember what the Boston Tea Party was? Yeah, it was when the United States, the Sons of the American Revolution, they took the tea that they were getting taxed on and they dumped it into the Boston Harbor. And what this did was caused Britain to react. And out of that came the Intolerable Acts. And if you guys remember, the Intolerable Acts were just a response to the Tea Act and the Boston Tea Party. Now, can anyone else tell me what else was another act? Yeah, the Quartering Act. So, do you guys remember what the Quartering Act was? Yeah, it was when soldiers were, during time of war, were housed in American colonist households, and they were fed and they got supplies. But this made the colonists unhappy because it forced them to open up their homes to soldiers during times that weren't of war. And so there's that. Do you remember what another one was? Yeah. So, we have the Stamp, the Tea, Intolerable Acts, Quartering Acts. Can't have tea without sugar. That's right. The Sugar Act. So, the Sugar Act put a tax on any sugars, molasses, and the export and import of sugar because sugar in the U.S. was unrefined. So we sent it back to Britain, and what they did was they sent it back to us in its finished form. And so, what this does is, what this graphic does is it shows that you can't have one of these without the other. And that's what caused the American Revolution. Now, so, we're going to do a little activity, and it's going to be that we're going to start off with, let's see here. So, we're going to do an activity, and these are going to be the acronyms A, E, and let's do B. What A equals is the certain act. What E equals is the event, and B equals a certain battle, certain key battle. So, can anyone tell me what stamp was? Yeah, that would be labeled underneath A for act. What about, let's go with Lexington and Concord. Yeah, so that would be under B for battle. And let's do a couple more just to be safe so you know what you're doing on your homework. You already have your homework sheet. So, let's, what was the Boston Tea Party? We talked about it a little bit earlier, if you guys can remember. Yeah, so it was an E for an event. You guys are really smart. And so, based off of this, you guys should be able to do your homework, I would assume. Now, we're going to continue on, and we're going to talk about some major battles. So, the first one I want to talk about is Lexington and Concord. Now, what Lexington and Concord was a battle that American colonists were holding weapons, ammo, in a shed in between Lexington and Concord. And this, if you guys remember from the YouTube video we watched earlier today, The Shot Heard Around the World, sung by Schoolhouse Rock. This is where The Shot Heard Around the World came about. So, because of Lexington and Concord, that was kind of the first shot fired. So, technically it could be in our graph here. We'll just put it up here. So we'll make another circle and Lexington, Concord.